Good morning, my name's Madeline, and I've come down to southern Arizona to Patagonia Lake State Park. Typical of a lot of campgrounds, it's way not level. And since this is a lake, it kind of slopes downhill toward the lake. So we're going to have two issues, front to back. I've already checked with my level. Front to back, I'm way down by the bow. And then on the driver's side, I'm leaning way downhill. So I've got to rectify that situation. The first thing I need to do, though, is look at what's around me, because I have a slide out in the back and a full room slide out on the driver's side. So on the driver's side, I have an obstruction back here of this pipe bollard that's in front of the electrical panel. So I have to be mindful of that. Now I've already measured, and I should clear it by a couple of inches. The other issue that we have in this particular campsite is a ramada back here. And I have a bedroom slide. So if I slide this out, it's going to hit on this ramada, and it looks like someone else already has. So I'm going to be very mindful of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front of the campsite so that I clear this, but just barely. I've already measured how far up I need to go, and I've set this wheel chock where my back tire, the one that doesn't need any lifting, will stop right there. That'll let me clear the bedroom. So now let's address the height problem. So in the front, I know I'm going to have to come up quite a bit, and there's a limit to the amount that you can use your stabilizers to take some of the pressure off of your tire. And it's about 4 inches, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the front tires up 5 inches. And I'm going to do the same thing on the front left, but I also need to do the same thing on the back left because I'm tilting down and I'm tilting to the driver's side. So frequently, and on asphalt, even on gravel, you can start trying to get your rig up on to these Lynx Levelers and they start sliding. And so what'll happen is you can just tear them up, just like this. Not a good thing. So what I do is I use the rubber mats and put these under the Lynx Levelers, and I put the rib side down, perpendicular. The ribs are running this way, so perpendicular to my direction of travel. So when I drive up on this one isn't going to slip, which means the Lynx Levelers are sitting on the top side. They're not going to slip either. So what I'm going to do is position the Lynx Levelers for the tires. I've already positioned this. I have the rubber mat under this one, and then I put my Lynx Levelers on to get me up about 5 inches. And you can see here that so that I use half as many Lynx Levelers, I've cut some of these in half. That's a half piece, and this one is a half piece. Now the only thing I have to be careful of is not to drive off the front. But remember, that back right tire has that wheel chock. It's not going to let me drive off the front. So I position these exactly where I want them. And the other advantage I have with my rig is I can look out the driver's window and see where the center of this tire is centered on this Lynx lever, this far one where I have the cap. So I'm going to get in and I'm going to drive up. So now I'm up on my Lynx Levelers, and left to right, I'm going to be okay once I get this full room slide out. It's going to pull it back down just a little bit. but I'm still down by the bow. So I'm gonna have to now use my stabilizers to get some of the weight off these tires and get the rig up just a little bit more. Since I put 5 inches under my tires, I have to put 5 inches under these stabilizers also. So again, I'm going to use the rubber mats just so that I don't get rocks and stuff up under my Lynx Levelers. So I'm going to take my little tool here and I'm going to push that back under there. So that looks about right. And I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. Okay, that one's good. Now that I have 4 inches under my front stabilizers, I'm going to go back inside, fire the truck up, and put my stabilizers down until I can get it more up in the front. So now that I've gone inside, I started the truck, I put the stabilizers down, now I'm level. My only problem is going to be, now my steps are a little bit too high. I have short legs, my dog has short legs, so I'm going to put some more Lynx Levelers out here and build me a little step. Alright, so now I have some Lynx Levelers, and rather than use the half pieces to put this together, I use it so frequently that I've tie wired these together. So these bottom 4, they're all together, and then I can just put the caps right on top. And I'm going to set it right here. So I can step up and not have such a big riser here. So this one's about the same as this. The dog can get in, I can get in, my knees don't get worn out. Life is good. So now that I'm all level, I'm going to show you how I came up with these little rubber mats to put under the Lynx Levelers. So when we go to level the rig, and we're going to use these Lynx Levelers, these are 8.5 square. So instead of having these into the gravel and burying themselves, what we're going to do is we're going to put pieces of stall mat underneath it. And I already have a whole bunch of these cut so that the Lynx Levelers will sit like this. And these I cut just a little bit bigger. So these are 10-inch squares. And the origin of all of these that I cut are from a 3-foot by 4-foot stall mat. I bought these at Tractor Supply, and currently they're 28 bucks a sheet, but you can catch them on sale for 24 or 25. But they're well worth the money. So to cut them, all I need is a razor knife. It's pretty simple. And I put a piece of cardboard underneath it so that I don't dull my knife on the concrete. So the first thing we're going to do is mark these, and they have these ribs, and it's not rocket science. You don't need to have them exactly 10 inches. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to mark this at 10. Well, we'll just go right between the rib there. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to mark that rib. And I happen to have a 3-foot, well, it's, yeah, 3-foot steel tape, but you don't really need this because you can just go down through here with the razor knife. So we're just going to kind of get it right in here. Make sure I'm in the same rib. Yep. So I'm not going to put a whole lot of pressure on here. I'm just going to make a light score. And you could do this freehand. There we have one strip. We're going to mark 10 inches. This one I'm going to mark across because I don't have the ribs to follow. So just about like that. And there we have it. One 10-inch square that'll go under the Lynx Levelers. So earlier I mentioned that I had little half pieces of these Lynx Levelers. And after I cut them, they look like this. And where did I get this? Did I waste a Lynx Leveler? But definitely I want to avoid having to carry around twice as many Lynx Levelers. I thought there has to be a way. So I took, and this one happened to have been a brand new one because I was just getting started. And so I cut them across like this. But this one earlier that someone had thrown away because they tore it all up, all I do is I cut it right in half. So I'm going to take the hacksaw and I'm going to cut it right there. And I'm going to cut it right there. And then I'm going to go over here on this side because I need a little bit of support. So this will still be attached to this. And then I'll cut right through here. Through here. And then I'll go back up here on this side and I'll cut right there. So you just take a little hacksaw and you cut right across here. And then you can throw this piece away and keep this. Where you're using a brand new one, which you obviously can, then you'd have two good pieces like this. So hopefully, having seen all this stuff, you can develop your own ideas, modify these, whatever, so that you can be reasonably level and have some happy camping.